your bibbles. All right. If everybody pulls that out on the back side, the first section is your in-cab and your brake inspection. The second section, lights and operationals check. That is what you're going to come to know as your qualifying question. And you guys will learn that why that is here in a moment. We're going to start where it says front of vehicle engine area. The first box is lenses. All right, that's where we're going to start on the pre-trip. Okay. Now I know some of you have already watched videos. You've come out. They've gone out here. They have talked about your clearance lights. They're amber in color. They're not bent, broken, damaged, or cracked, or any of that. They're talking about the headlights. You know, about being clear. Then the turn signals being amber. They're talking about lights and leans and leaks, and it takes like 5 minutes to get through it. All right. With the updated the way they do it, you come out here, you point at all your lenses. All right. Lenses are any reflector or between the difference between a reflector and a lens is a lens has an electronic component behind it. A reflector does not. All right. You come out, you point at all your lenses and say, "These are my lenses. They are undamaged." That's it. You don't have to add all that extra stuff in anymore. It's bare minimum is what we're looking for. All right. Before you do anything else, we have to get out here. These are my lenses. They are undamaged. All right. Then we open the hood. I'll show you guys how to do that here in a second. All right, Christian, you're I don't know, between you, who's, hang on, go ahead and open it. Get the shortest of stature to do it, just to show you all can do it. That's it. That's how you open a truck hood. It's not that hard, just put your foot up and pull on it. You don't have to be gigantic to do it, all right? All right, come around on this side. Gather around where y'all can see the engine compartment. All right, there are some things that are wrong with our truck. We know some of them have leaks. All right, we're not interested in the leaks. We're not interested in if something's damaged, okay? We're looking for your knowledge of what's supposed to be and what's not supposed to be, all right? We're gonna use a couple blanket statements. All right, a blanket statement is something you say that covers everything. All right, that first blanket statement is it's not damaged or there is no damage. That covers the bent, broken, frayed, gouge or cut. That covers all of that. So when you say it's not damaged, that's what you're saying. You're saying all of that. All right. The other, another blanket statement we use is manufacturer specs. All right, when something has that manufacturer specs, he is taking your word that it is filled or it's at manufacturer specs. All right, so that way you don't have to give precise detail. All right, if you give precise detail and it doesn't match up to that precise detail, that's a point. Or on the brake inspection, that's a failure. Like on the brake inspection, if you say I'm not going to lose, or I'm going to pump my brakes to my low air warning device at 55. If it goes off at 65, that's a failure because it didn't go off at 55. But if you say by 55 and it goes off anywhere between where you're at now to 55, that's a pass. It is semantic. It really is. All right. So on your list, we've checked that first one off. We've checked lenses off. All right. What's the next one?
Fluid levels.
Fluid levels. All right. So now we're going to talk about the fluid levels of the vehicle. All right. There's 3 of them that we're going to be looking for. The first one is going to be your coolant reservoir. The second one is going to be your power steering fluid reservoir. Now we're going to say the identical things for both of these, so we're going to run them together. So you don't have to talk about this one, then talk about this one, then talk about this one, talk about these two, then you talk about that one. We're taking steps out, all right? So that way it's less confusing, less to say, the better off you are. All right. So the very first thing is your coolant reservoir and your power steering fluid reservoir. The first thing about these two items is they are both undamaged. Remember, everything is undamaged. All right. Now, after I tell you that these are undamaged, I'm going to tell you they both have caps. I'm going to point to this one. I'm going to point to that one. I'm going to point to that one. And I'm going to tell you they're all on tight. All right. The third thing we need to know about it is that it is filled to manufacturer specs. All right. Those are the three things we need to know about this. All right. And that's two of our fluids. Now for our third one is our engine oil. Now we have an engine oil fill tube right here. All right. This is my engine oil fill tube. It is undamaged. The cap is on tight, and it is filled to manufacturer specs. The way that I know it's filled to manufacturer specs is if I take the dipstick, I pull it out, I wipe it off, I reinsert it, then pull it back out, I can get a correct reading of where it's at. All right, and that's how I know it's at manufacturer specs, because it'll say minimum and maximum. As long as it's between there, you're good. Now, once again, you no longer have to pull that out to do it. You don't have to get dirty. On that sheet, it says you must point and or touch. That's my dipstick. I'm pointing to it. I'm telling you what to do. You don't have to get dirty anymore, guys. When I went through this, I had to get underneath the truck in a jumpsuit and get dirty. All right? So now that we're done with those three, we move on to our next section. What's our next section? Fluid and air leaks. Now we just talked about the fluids, right? So these are this is my engine area, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wave your hand. Cover the whole engine. Don't be specific. Don't point like, that's not leaking, 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 that's... There's 300 points that you can point at and tell me it's not leaking. All right? Walk up and say, I see no visual leaks. When you're dealing with radiator fluid, you're dealing with power steering fluid, you're dealing with gasoline, you're dealing with DEF fluid. Any fluid you're dealing with, if there's a leak, it's going to be a visual leak. All right? If it has anything to do with an air system, brakes, or transmission or stuff like that, it's going to be an audible leak. All right? So if it's air, it's audible. If it's a fluid, it's visual. All right. So I see no visual leaks. Now it says fluid and air leaks.
Mm-hmm.
That was my fluid leaks. Now for my air leaks, I'm going to come up here. I'm going to put my hand on these wires that look like a bag of Skittles. All right. I'm going to walk up and put my hand on there. I'm going to say, these are my air hoses or my air lines. He's not going to get you on that. He's not that particular about your vernacular, okay? These are my air lines or these are my air hoses. They are what? Everything is what? Undamaged. And there is no audible leaks. There you go. All right, that's it. Check that off. Move to the next one.
Steering systems.
Steering system. Does anybody here know all 5 pieces of your steering system?
Right here?
Yeah.
A power steering,
Pivot arm.
gearbox, pivot arm, and
Trolley. Forgot the last one.
Okay, who here wants to memorize all 5? Nobody, right? All right. You need to know where they are, but you do not need to know their names. All right? 5 words, 5 parts. You're going to point to each part. This is my steering system. 5 words. All right. Your first part's going to be right here. This is going to be your steering column. All right? Your second part is going to be your gearbox. Your third part's going to be your pitman arm. Your fourth piece is going to be your drag link. All right? I encourage you to come up here and take a look, see what I'm pointing to. Okay. This is your pitman arm. This is your drag link. Pitman arm, drag link. And behind the drag link, at the end of it, is your steering knuckle. Okay. What's this? Steering column. This?
Gearbox,
This?
pavement arm,
This?
drag link,
This?
the knuckle,
Steering
steering
knuckle.
knuckle.
All right. 5 pieces, 5 words. So once again, instead of remembering all that, this is my steering system. All right. It is.
Undamaged.
There you go. Real easy. And just remember, if you start here at your steering column, just follow it down. The steering column is connected to the gearbox. Gearbox is connected to the pitman arm. Pitman arm is connected to the drag link. Drag link is connected to the steering knuckle. Y'all remember that song as a kid? Head
Yeah.
bone's connected to the neck bone connected. Yeah, that's what we're doing here. All right. 5 pieces, 5 words. This is my steering system. It is undamaged. All right. The next one is going to require 5 as well. What's the next one we're going to be doing?
Tires.
Tires. All right. 5 pieces to the steering system, 5 pieces to the tires. The 2 5s run together. All right. There's 5 things we need to know about your tire. All right. If you watch the videos out there, first thing they say is the sidewalls are no abrasion, bulges, or cuts. We don't need that. All right. But we do start on the sidewalls. All right. My sidewalls are
Damaged.
undamaged. All right, boom. The second thing, we're going to be starting to look at our tread. And each one of these, if you do it right, leads into the next one so you don't forget it. Learn an order, do an order, so that way if you go out of order, you know that you've done something wrong. All right? Whatever order that may be. You don't have to do my order. You can make a new order yourself, but as long as you do it, keep an order. All right, my sidewalls are undamaged. My tread is evenly worn. That tread that's evenly worn has no less than 4 30 seconds of tread. All right. That tread that's 40 30 seconds is not retreaded. All right. And the tire is filled to manufacturer's specs. That's 5 pieces. Sidewalls undamaged. Tread evenly worn. More than 4 30 seconds of tread. The tread is not recapped. And it is inflated to manufacturer specs. All right. Now, I don't care what the side of the truck says. I don't care what the door says. That is not manufacturer specs for the tires. Do not go off of that. Go off of what it says on the tire, and it'll tell you right in here. Tires are different, all right? You may have one tire that, like a C, D, E, F, G ply. The more plies it has, probably the more air pressure you need in it. This one might be 120. You might get on a heavy haul truck or something. You might need 130 or 140 in it. Go by what's off that, because if you don't inflate a tire to its correct inflation, see at the bottom how it has kind of goes flat a little bit? If you get too much of flat, those 2 curves will sit there and roll on each other. That will heat up the tire, that will break it down, and it will end up, that's how you get the tread to fall off the truck tire. All right, by having underinflated tires. Okay. Now, going back, we're looking for damage on the sidewalls, and that's the bulges, abrasions, or cut. The only time you get a bulge in a tire on the sidewall is from an impact. So don't go and say, hey, I got a bad tire. It has a big old bubble in it. They're going to ask you what you hit. You know, own up to it. Go, hey, I hit something. I got a bulge. All right. No less than 4 30 seconds of tread. That is the bare minimum by DOT law for a steer tire. Your drives can be something else, but don't even worry about those numbers for now. Just keep that 4 in mind. All right. The evenly worn portion, that can tell you a lot about your truck. Like you were saying, need an alignment on one of the tires because it's wearing on the outside. All right. That could be an indication of alignment if it's just wearing on one. It could be a toe, a camber, some type of adjustment needs to be made. All right. If it's worn on the outside, not worn on the inside, you might be underinflated. If it's worn in the middle and not on the outside, you might be overinflated. If you have waves in your tire, you might have a suspension problem. You might have a problem with the shocks, springs, or something like that for that tire bouncing up and down. You can tell a lot by the condition of your steer tires what's wrong with your truck, or if there is something wrong with your truck. All right, one more time. Sidewalls undamaged. Tread Evenly worn. Tread has more than.
430 seconds.
All right. It is not
Not cut.
Not
recapped.
Oh, not recap.
It's inflated to
Manufacturer's spec.
manufacturer specs. If you don't know what recap is, just go on YouTube, look up recapped truck tire, and they'll show you what they do. And you'll see why you can't have that on your steer tire.
Mm-mm.
If that tread comes off or your right side, you're going to be going to the right. If it comes off your left, you're going to be going to your left. All right, we checked that box off. Our next box is
Rims.
rims. These are my rims. They are
Undamaged.
and no illegal welds. Next one is
Lug
lug
nuts.
nuts. These are my lug nuts. They are
Undamaged.
and they are on tight. All right. We don't care about rust. We don't care about shiny metal. None of that stuff anymore. They are undamaged. That covers all of it. All right. What's our next one?
Spring mounts and airbags
airbags
and shocks.
All right. It says spring mounts, airbags, and shocks. That's spring mounts, springs / mounts, airbags, and shocks. All right. Now I'll tell you right now, we don't have any airbags on these trucks. All right. So if it doesn't have an airbag on it, we don't have to talk about it. All right. Just is going to be spring, mounts, and shocks. Okay. Everybody know what a leaf spring is?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know what a leaf spring is, this is the leaf spring right here. This is your leaf spring. It is a big flat piece of iron that's about 5 feet long. All right.
and heavy as hell.
Yep. All right. At the very front of that leaf spring up here is your front mount. At the very back of your leaf spring back there is your rear mount. So when you look at that, it says springs and mounts. You say, this is my spring, this is my front mount, and my rear mount. They are all
Undamaged.
hey, there you go. All right, we don't have an airbag, so we don't talk about airbag, but we do have a shock. This is my front shock right here. All right. This is my shock. It is,
Undamaged.
and no, what type of leak?
Visual.
No visual.
Audible.
Audible leak.
Visual.
Visual. Oil
Visual.
leaks.
That shit is not air.
Okay. Yeah, because like on your car, they have what they call oleo pneumatic. So they're air and oil. All right. These trucks are just straight oil. All right. So even if it had an air leak, we wouldn't be able to hear it anyways, because the only way you can test for an air leak is if you're able to run next to the vehicle doing about 30 miles an hour and listen to over an engine if it has a little bit of an air leak when it hits its throttle. All right. All right. Springs, mounts, airbags, and shocks. Check. What's next?
Brake lines.
Brake
hoses,
lines.
Leaks.
All right. If you look at the back of the tire right here, there's 2 lines coming off your brake chamber. All right. One is a brake hose. The other one is an ABS line. All right. We're not. Does it say ABS hose or line,
No.
or does it say brake hose?
Just-
It says brake. So we're going to go to the brake. We don't care about this ABS line. This is my brake hose. It is
Undamaged.
undamaged and no
Visual leak.
Audible
No,
leaks.
audible.
Okay,
Very
I
good.
it's air.
Very good. Air, audible.
Audible.
All right, we checked that off. What's next?
Brake.
Brake contaminants.
Brake contaminants. All right, guys. We don't need to know how much pad you have on your shoe or your pad. We don't need to know how thick your rotor is. This is just the state certification to get your license. Now, you need to know all that when you get on the road, but we're not worried about that right now. Right now, we're looking for brake contaminants. We're not looking for brake condition. We are looking for brake contaminants. All right, so this is the point in time when you put your head over the back side of the tire and you look on the back side and you're looking for God. G-O-D. Grease, oil, and debris. All right? Easy way to remember it. Look for God. Grease, oil, and debris. All right? I see no grease, oil, or debris. My brakes are free of contaminants. Once again, we're not looking for damage or condition. We're looking for contaminants. I see no grease, oil, debris. My brakes are free of contaminants. Check that off. What's next?
Lenses and reflectors.
And
All right, so we've moved to a new. Yep, we've moved to a new section. Side of vehicle. All right. This is your side of vehicle. That is your trailer. This is your vehicle. All right. On the side of your vehicle, since this being your test truck, this is the only lens you have on the side of your vehicle. This is my lens. It is done. Good. That's it. Next one is
Traffic monitoring device.
traffic monitoring device. All right. So when you guys are inside doing your in-cab inspection, you're going to reference this during your in-cab. All right. While you're inside, you're going to be referencing the mirrors and that there's no illegal stickers on them and they're not damaged. When you're out here, you're talking about the mount, the bracket, and the housing. So this is my traffic monitoring device. It is,
Undamaged.
there you go. You see how much easier this is? It is so much easier. So much easier. All right, what's next? Batteries. All right. These are my batteries. They are undamaged and free of excessive corrosion. Not just corrosion, excessive corrosion. All right. So if you open this up and it looks like you're about to win first place at a high school science experiment, all right, that's excessive. All right. If there's a little bit on there, you're okay. But if it's like turning green or blue or it looks like you've grown crystals, that's excessive. All right. So these are my batteries. They are undamaged and no excessive corrosion. All right. What's my next line?
Fuel tank and DF.
Fuel tank and def tank. All right. So since we're working this way, I would go with your def tank first. This is your def tank right here. You know that because it says DEF right here. All right. This is my def tank. Now it says def tank and fuel tank. This is like your reservoirs up front, your coolant reservoir and your power steering fluid reservoir. You're going to say the same thing for both of them, so just do them together. This is my def tank. This is my fuel tank. They are both
Undamaged.
They both have caps that are
Security attached.
yep or tight, and I see no visual leaks. There you go. That's nice and good. Now the only thing to be careful on these ones when you run them together, if you say this is my def tank and this is my fuel tank, this is my cap, this is my other cap, they're on tight, it's undamaged, and there's no visual leaks, I have not told you that the tanks are undamaged. I told you that the caps are undamaged. We're not caring about the caps. So when you say this is my def tank, this is my fuel tank, they are both undamaged. They both have caps that are on tight, and there is no visual leaks. All right, just kind of be careful the way you say that. All right, what's next?
Frame.
Frames. All right, you have multiple frames. On this one, you have about 40. On that one, you have probably about 60. First thing, this is my truck frame. It is
Undamaged.
undamaged. All right, coming back here, starting about right here, you have these things underneath the trailer. They look like ribs. All right. Now remember what I said, if you got to say one thing for one thing and there's multiple of it, say it for all of it. So that way you don't have to do it individually. So I'm going to tell him, point to this one and say, these, and point down to the end, are my trailer frames. They are
Undamaged.
all right. Because if you say this is my trailer frame, it's undamaged, you just missed 30 others. That's the point. All right. If you do it individually, you're gonna have to be like, this is my first frame, it is undamaged. This is my second frame, it is undamaged. This is my third frame, it's undamaged. This is my fourth frame, it's undamaged. And nobody wants to do that. All right. So starting here, all the way down there is my trailer frames. They are all undamaged. All right. What's next?
Combination vehicles only, air and electric
Air and
lines
electric
connected.
lines.
Air and electric lines.
Air, electric lines, and connectors.
Comienzo ustedes en un grupo de WhatsApp conmigo y para poder mandarles yo
Air
material
and
en
electric
español.
lines and connectors.
So, el que quiera comienza uno con ustedes y luego me dicen y ya tengo mi número para comenzar a nosotros. You go, brother, you go ahead.
I don't want them to miss this.
Okay. Terminen lo que estamos haciendo primero y luego ya cuando terminen eso ya hacemos el WhatsApp.
Muy bien.
All right. So there is, on this one right here, there is 9
Have you noticed
pieces you're
how
looking
much
for.
Smaller it is, the chest.
Once again, we don't want to
Compared to
do
the
them all
DPS.
individually. We want to run them together so we don't have to say it one time. You can go through and say, this is my first air hose. It is undamaged and there is no audible leak. This is my second air hose. It is undamaged and no audible leak. This is my electric line. It is undamaged. This is my first air connector to my trailer. It is undamaged, you know, and no audible leak. You don't want to have to go through that for all of this, okay? So if you run them together, the better off you are.
Audible,
Audio.
Audible creo que sí es Dix y otro es Visual, que es
Como gota.
So what I would do is I would come in here and I would grab my airlines and say, these are my airlines. This is my electrical line. These are all my connectors to my trailer. These are my connectors to my truck. They are all
undamaged.
undamaged. And my air components have no
Audible leaks.
audible leaks. There you go. So you're just taking something of 9 pieces and turn it into one. So I'm just trying to make it easier for you guys. All right. Now you can do it the hard way if you want to, but I recommend the easy way. All right. What's next?
fifth wheel.
Fifth wheel.
Follow the list, guys. Stick to the list.
All right. I'm going to tell you guys. We are truck drivers. We're not pirates. We don't use oars. All right. When you get to an or in a sentence, stop. Think of the or as a period. All right.
Todo lo que dice, por ejemplo, como dice,
So
or.
that sentence
Esa
now
palabrita,
turns into what?
O después de eso, no se pretende. Okay?
It's three of them. Yeah, the fifth wheel.
No se ocupa, no se
Fifth
necesita.
wheel skid plate.
Fifth wheel, pedal hook, and tow hitch.
Or, arriba, adelante.
Fifth wheel skid plate. Period.
Es lo que está diciendo.
After that or, we don't do that. This is information from the state.
Okay.
All right. This is for different types of things. As a truck driver, Class A CDL,
Fifth wheel.
fifth wheel skid plate. That's all we're
Sí,
doing.
donde quiera que lo
All right. Anybody know where their fifth wheel skid plate is?
Ese-
Underneath.
That's right. Right inside here.
Sí, el kingpin apron.
That is your
Sí.
fifth wheel
Después de-
skid plate. All right. What do we need to know about your fifth wheel skid plate?
Make sure there's grease.
What type of grease though?
Lubricated. Lubricated.
What type?
Like bearing grease.
Properly greased.
Property grease.
Properly greased. And it is
Undamaged.
undamaged. There you go. We use the word proper twice. This is the first time we use the word proper. This is my fifth wheel skid plate. It is undamaged and properly greased. All right, what's the next one?
Kingpin.
Is there an or in there?
Kingpin.
Stop at the or.
Kingpin.
Kingpin, apron, and gap. All right. Does everybody know what your kingpin is?
It's the
All right.
generic.
If you look down there at that trailer that doesn't have anything on it, you see a little thing coming down the front of the truck that looks like this, you know, like down in the middle.
No,
A nub, that is your kingpin. Now when it's attached to your truck, you cannot see it. So you will have to come back here and you have to give him a description of where it is.
you'll have to be behind that tire, pointing like he's showing you guys. Okay.
You're going to point up here and say, inside my fifth wheel is my kingpin, behind my locking jaws. That's describing where it's at. My kingpin is in my fifth wheel, behind my locking jaws.
If you're doing where this guy in the turquoise is at, he's not gonna count it. You gotta be back there. Okay.
Yep, you got to be back here behind the tire, pointing up there. All right. That was kingpin. Now we need the apron. The apron is your skid plate for your trailer. Okay. This piece of metal that goes from the front of the truck to right here. That is your apron. It's up under here. All right. It's basically your skid plate for your trailer. All right. This is my apron. It is.
Undamaged.
There you go. All right, kingpin, apron, and gap. Now the gap he's looking for, or you're looking for, is going to be if there is a gap between your apron and your fifth wheel. There should be no gap. If you see a gap between your apron and your fifth wheel, and you take off driving, you're probably going to have a really bad day. Because either you're going to drop it right away, or it's going to wait 20 minutes down the road and pop out for you. You're going to be driving like, these trailers. That's fine. So,
Yep, it happened.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot.
No gap between the fifth wheel and the apron. All right. What's next?
Cellular only, landing gear and clearance.
I think we're forgetting something in there.
Locking, safety.
Oh, locking and
There you
safety
go.
devices.
Locking and safety devices. You have 3 pieces of locking and safety device on here. And this is why we go off the checklist. So if we get to the end and we realize that we're missing something isn't checked, we can go back and do it. All right. The 3 pieces of locking and safety devices we're gonna need. I'm gonna show you here, then I'm gonna take you over to our other trucks, and I'm gonna give you a better look at it over there. All right. The first thing we're gonna be looking for is right here. This is my fifth wheel release handle. All right. The second thing I'm gonna be looking for, you can't even see, and that's inside this bar right here. That is your slide pins. You have 2 slide pins inside here. All right. The last thing is going to be the thing that we told him that our kingpin is sitting behind, and that's our locking jaws. So fifth wheel release handle, slide pins, locking jaws. Those are the 3 pieces of safety equipment we're going to be looking for. Now they are all undamaged, and they are all locked into position. All right. If they're not locked into position, you're not good. All right. So those are the 3 pieces, and they are undamaged and locked into position. All right. Next was that landing gear that we were trying to get to. Okay, I don't need to know where the handle is. I don't need to know much about this. I just need to know that this is my landing gear and it is undamaged. Now, this is where we use the word proper for the second time. So we're looking at landing gear and clearance, right? So we're looking for landing gear and proper clearance. All right. Now I don't care if you talk about your mud flaps. I don't care about if you talk about your tires or if you talk about your frame. This is my landing gear. It is undamaged and it has proper clearance to my mud flaps. It has proper clearance to my tires. It has proper clearance to my frame. Just it has proper clearance
I
to
think
something.
recently, Bubba, he wanted everybody to say tire. I think this is recent. Like I think I heard Charles recently say, I don't know if you were here or not that day. Just say tire, guys, okay? I think that's what, I don't think you were here that day, but he mentioned that he wants proper clearance to be landing gear to tire.
All right, we're just about to get on that. You could say any one of these, but I would recommend to practice with tire, okay? So that way you don't get jumbled around and you don't try to remember what you can and cannot say. This is my landing gear. It is undamaged, has proper clearance to my tires. All right, what's next?
Reflector tape.
Reflector tape. We're going to do this just like we did the ribs. These are my reflector tape. They are
Undamaged.
There you go. Easy money.
Damage, you mean like the whole tape is off, it's missing?
no, it's completely undamaged. What are you talking about?
That's what with that, man. Guárdate el proceso, no la orden. Okay? El proceso de cómo van a hacer, no la orden.
All right, the last thing on the list is lenses and reflectors in the back of the vehicle. All right, I do it one way on the video, but I'm going to show you a different way. I like this way a little bit better because it encompasses everything. All right, you're going to come back here. You're going to say, these are my lenses and my reflectors. They are all
Undamaged.
all right. In the video, I say, these are my lenses. They are undamaged. These are my reflectors. They are undamaged. But on this one, we got lenses up there too. And between Kenneth or Charles, depending who does your test, one might check a point for you, one might not. It's up to the inspector. So this way it covers everything. These are my lenses and reflectors. They are undamaged. Just point to everything and you'll be good.
Fácil.
Yes.
Fácil.
Hey.
No
So
tienes
much
que
easier.
escribir que están rojos, no tienes que decir que están
Sí.
quebrados.
It's a lot easier.
Yeah, no damage.
Everything.
No damage, built to manufacturer specs.
¿Y qué se dice cuando se dice que se escucha algo?
Like I asked earlier,
¿Y qué se dice